Greetings and hello, and welcome to The Last Video Store, the podcast and YouTube show where I, Alexei Toliopoulos, one of the most supremely gifted cinephiles in Australia's history, will be joined by a funny, beautiful, and exciting guest to talk about some of their favorite movies in the style of an old school video store rental combo. And I'm not alone on this episode. I've got a co-host with me today, Zachary Ruane.
Hello, thank you. I think of myself more as the band leader, less of a co-host. I just interject here and there with a question or a thought.
Wow, the Paul Schaefer of the show.
I am the Paul Schaefer of the show.
Well, Zachary, you're also the David to my Margaret. We've been touring around our show Refused Classification.
Yeah.
And it's been selling the fuck out.
Selling out, but if we've got any more coming up, I don't know when this is coming out. I don't know. We're doing bonus shows here and there. Google it.
Google it.
Google it.
Or go into the show notes. Click through to the show notes. Click the button. Go through. Buy tickets.
Show notes.
And joining us today, we are opening up our polycule to one of your favorite collaborators, one of my favorite, funniest people in the world, Mish Wittrup.
That's right, my co-host of the Mish Zach podcast. I say it in the podcast, but this is a really exciting moment as I angle for a podcast equivalent of a threesome.
Wow. And you're about to see the intoxicating fumes come up from the three bodies uniting together to discuss cinema.
You're thinking it's going to be sexy. The energy from me is more like a guy at his 21st trying to wrangle family, university friends, and high school friends.
Well, what would people know Mish from as well?
Mish is a comedian, an incredible stand-up comedian, a writer, and a podcaster. She's also been in a lot of Auntie Donna's stuff. She's, I would say, and I really mean this, probably the most naturally funny person I've ever met in my life. She can just on a dime say the funniest shit. She's the funny friend.
Yes.
You've got a funny friend at home. I'm sorry, they're shit compared to Mish.
They suck shit.
They suck shit because she's the funny friend that can turn that into a career.
Yeah, and we saw her show together Off With Her Head at the Melbourne International Comedy Festival. Super funny. Hopefully doing some more encore appearances.
Fingers crossed. If not, go see anything she does, really.
Absolutely. Well, Zach, before we get into the discussion on the show, the way we do this is that I will give a recommendation based on Mish's picks on the podcast, usually a new release and a couple of weekly choices. But if you would like one, dear listener or viewer of this program, send us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify comment, YouTube comment, on the Instagram, Last Video Store Batuta, and I will give you a recommendation based on your combo.
And
Zach?
in the early days of the Mish Zach podcast, we used to say this, you can write anything in your reviews, but if it is less than a 5-star, it will be ignored.
Yeah.
I've made that rule for you now. If you want this recommendation, it has to be a 5-star.
It has to be a 5-star.
It's the only way to be listened to.
And what have they said here?
They said, this is from McDonald Town.
Oh my gosh, it's a station in Sydney.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Hello.
McDonald Town Station on the Inner West Line.
Hello, here are my films. New release, Kinds of Kindness.
Oh, wow.
Weeklies, Lost in Translation, Dancer in the Dark, and Vampire's Kiss.
Wow, and I would say I appreciate the brevity. No compliments about the show, just hello, here are my choices. So
the 5-star is all you need.
That's it, that's all we need. You can be as little as that. You can wax lyrical about the show either way, but McDonald Town, you got to the business. I appreciate it. I'm gonna jump off Vampire's Kiss. I think really fun movie. I love vampire movie. Shadow of the Vampire. Maybe it's even come up on this podcast before, but I love that movie. It's got the best premise about the making of Nosferatu.
Yeah.
But if they had a real vampire coming to play the Nosferatu character, played by Willem Dafoe.
Can I throw in a recommendation?
Of course, you're working in the video store too.
Let's go a little bit of, there's not a lot of kitsch here, but I think a bit of Blood for Dracula is a fun one. Yeah, just a little bit, the way the guy says, there's
the cure.
Yeah, the Dracula's assistant says virgins is one of, I think, all-time greatest movie pronunciations. You go, yeah, we need virgin blood.
Well, you're no longer a virgin yourself. You just gave a recommendation on the podcast.
I know. Was that a little uncalled for? Was that a little spicy?
That's what a co-host should do. Congratulations, Zach.
Thank you so much.
You popped your cherry, mate. But let's get on to our podcast now with the wonderful Mish Wittrup.
The Last Video Store.
arrived at the last video store, Mish Wittrup. Thanks for
Hello.
joining.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
And you're here as well with your co-host of the Mish Zach podcast, Zachary Ruane.
Hello, thank you so much.
How many appearances now, Zach?
This is now 3 appearances. This is my 3rd appearance on the last video store of Batutas, and I and
he knows the name of the show.
and I have to say this is very exciting to be 3rd, because I'm now in that place where, you know, when someone has won more than one of a thing, like when they've won more than one Oscar or they've won more than one championship, it then becomes about the number. That's the new competition.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when I heard Cameron James had done 3, I was like, well, you got to get me on for a 3rd. This is now the game. I'm never going to sleep easy. I'm not that kind of guy.
No,
Now I've got to be.
And I'm simply starting my journey.
That is it.
I'm like Jenna Ortega.
Wow.
It's
my
just the
God.
beginning.
It's just the beginning,
It's
and we
just the
don't know what can
beginning.
happen next.
I reckon maybe a second time that I'd come on this pod in maybe like 18 months.
I think so. And I
Yeah.
reckon you could even take over from me if I'm sick for a day or something like that.
Literally my dream.
But it's my dream to have you on here. You're one of my favorite people. You're one of the funniest people that I know.
Oh, bless
And
you.
also one of the most passionate film lovers that I've ever come across in my life.
She loves a movie.
And I've come across a lot of people that love movies in my time.
Yeah, I do. I really do love movies. I think I'm really scared to say I love movies
Wow.
around people who love movies because the movies I love aren't always everybody's favorite movie.
Mm.
But
No.
I do love a movie.
You will
No.
be scrutinized today for your taste.
Do you
We will
reckon?
scrutinize you.
Well, you
Zach and
could.
I will getting up on you and scrutinize.
No. I'm going to be very, very honest about what I love.
Good.
But there is a paranoia that you're going to be like, I can't believe this bitch dare say she love a film.
Yes, and I'm famous for calling women bitches.
Bitches.
So it shall happen. It
I
shall
walked
happen.
into this building, you're like, "G'day, you bitch." I reckon you're gonna suck today.
Yeah.
I have to say right now, this is like, I didn't think it would be as awkward as it is, but I really do feel like, because as we know on the podcast, I'm sure the listeners know, you and I, Alexei, have just toured.
Yes.
Uh,
we have been collaborating.
We have been collaborating on a live show about movies. Mish and I have been doing podcasts about movies and TV for a long
Yes.
time now.
Movies, TV, and John Leguizamo. The big 3.
So
the big 3 culture kids.
Movies, TV, and the man that has been in all of them, John Leguizamo. But I feel so profoundly like a polyamorous man angling for a threesome
My
right now.
gosh, your 2 collaborators. We've merged the molecules together.
I've been saying Alexei's my metamor because
Yeah.
a metamor is your partner's partner. And this is my partner's partner right here. So the 3 of us
Wow.
coming together would be bizarre for you, but I think it's really great that you and I don't feel uncomfortable at all.
I know, not at all. It's exciting. It's in
Yeah.
fact a tantalizing treat for the dear listener.
Yeah, I'm actually very, very excited to be here.
But Zach is
I'll just
quivering.
maybe go get a
Yeah.
few Hey, do you guys want some cocktails? Or
I'll let you 2 get started and I'll be back in a few minutes.
get to know each other?
Zach
Mish,
goes-
Alexei likes movies too.
Zach goes and sits in an armchair in the corner and just watches.
Truly, though, that is
Yeah.
because I don't think I'm going to talk too much. I think I'm just going to sit back and watch you guys
That's beautiful.
podcast.
And
That's
we
what
look
the third
over every
mic's
once in a while, you're
for.
just like, nah, you're doing really good,
Yeah,
guys.
that's it. I would like you to do 2 things on this show as a
Mm.
co-host today, Zach. I
Yeah.
would like you to scrutinize the choices.
Scrutinize.
I would also like you to reveal personal details about Mish and Mish's life that
Yeah.
you have been there. You've been present for most of her life. You've been present there.
We
You've borne witness to her.
we were housemates when
2010.
2010. So
Wow.
it's been 15 years. Yeah.
Whoa. Do you know,
Wow.
in a few years, we would have known each other almost half my life.
In a few years, our relationship can vote.
Yeah. And I would say you're probably more than a few years of Zach's life, half
Yeah.
his life, because I think Zach will die young.
Yeah, there's a very, very good chance of that.
Yeah, I think
I
it will
always say
happen.
that to Alexei. Oh, no,
Yeah.
I can't.
He always goes,
You don't want to put a
"Continue my
lifeline
legacy."
warning at the top of this.
Continue my legacy out there. But we're going to kick things off, Mish. I would love to find out, have you ever been a member of a video store before?
Yeah, of course. Ivanhoe Blockbuster was mine, so
Wow.
I'm from Melbourne. And we were the family that rented the most movies at Blockbuster Ivanhoe.
Wow.
of
Wow.
anyone
Is
who
that
went there.
official?
Official.
Oh my God.
They knew us by name. They often let us
Or,
rent
you
for
know, it comes up on the screen.
Well,
when
yeah,
you-
no, but we'd walk in and they'd be like, "Hello, Elizabeth and her children."
Wow.
but yeah, no, they would let us rent often for free because we would rent like 5 weeklies and return them in 2 days because we'd watch them all.
You can keep it for a whole week.
Yeah, I know, crazy, but we
Wow.
rented so much, and especially during school holidays and stuff. That was my babysitter. Were weekly
Wow.
movies. Yeah, never new
Wow.
release, but I was allowed to rent 5 new weeklies every week.
Who was your favorite babysitter to have? What was your most rented tape? or
Oh, that's
DVD?
such a
That's a
good
great
question. For some reason, this popped
Thank
into
you.
my
I'm one of the
head.
great interviewers, by the way. I asked the best questions. What is your favorite DVD?
Do you know, I was talking to someone. I went, Julio Torres.
Yeah.
I was like outside his show. I didn't get in.
Yeah.
And they were coming out because you did an interview. And they
Mhm.
said to me, they were like, oh, that Alexei guy asked a question I would have never thought to ask. But as soon as he asked it, I desperately wanted to know the answer.
Yeah, the
I was
question
like-
was, what's your favorite DVD? Bonus feature, Julio Torres.
But that makes for good interviewing.
Mm.
The first one that's popped into my head was Drop Dead Fred
Oh my gosh.
because we had 10 VHS
Yeah.
tapes at home.
I
Right?
was about to say, my favorite was John Van Fed because we had an elder statesman, English comedian as an imaginary friend that lived with us throughout our childhood.
right. And he just won't fucking leave me alone. We had about 10 VHS tapes for my sister and I. And we didn't have Drop Dead Fred, but we loved it so much, so we rented it
Wow.
all the time. I also rented 3 Men and a Little Baby and 3 Men and a Little Lady a
Wow.
lot, and Look Who's Talking.
Oh my god.
The Look Who's Talking films. I was
Yes.
really into those.
Wow, wow,
Yeah,
wow.
those are
I
the-
love those movies, The Look Who's Talking.
The first one is very good, and
Yes.
the second one is very funny. I actually watched them recently. I'm like, the second one has some moments in it that
It's
are very
got
funny.
Roseanne as a baby.
Yeah, I know,
What
little
more could
tiny
you ask
Roseanne.
for? Roseanne as a baby. Then I love Look Who's Talking Now.
Yeah, the dogs.
The dogs.
Danny DeVito, Diane Keaton.
Diane Keaton,
Mm.
my favorite character actress. Diane Keaton playing, I don't know, a fucking German Shepherd or something in the movie.
She's a poodle.
No,
a big
no,
white
no.
poodle. And Danny DeVito plays her lover. And it's very funny because if you think
God,
about it.
make that live action.
Yeah, can you imagine
I'd
if it
love
was
to see
live
her
action?
humping on her leg like a little dog.
Yeah, Danny DeVito and Diane Keaton just going at it in the mud.
Oh my God Almighty! Sorry, I'm oozing bodily fluids imagining it just now.
So yeah, we rented those a lot. But
Mhm.
Drop Dead Fred was like a go-to rental
Yeah,
for me.
beautiful.
I loved Drop Dead Fred. Also,
Mhm.
I remembered this the other day. I haven't seen it in forever, but it was definitely a video store rental. Fly Away Home.
Oh wow!
Jeff Daniels and
Yeah,
Anna
yeah,
Paquin
and
and
Anna
all those
Paquin.
fucking birds.
Yeah.
Yeah, gorgeous.
Can I say one of my favorite clips on the internet is Anna Paquin winning her Oscar? Have you ever seen it?
Yes,
For the
adorable
piano?
with that little fucking
She's a
hat.
little hat.
Yeah.
She's a little hat. And then one of the people she thanks is, and thank you to Beanie. I go, is she thanking the fucking hat on her head? Is she thanking the hat?
Well, it's
Is she
an
thanking
iconic
her
hat.
beanie? Love it.
But yeah, no, Blockbuster Ivanhoe, and it was my
Mm.
favorite. We would go there all the time, but it was right next door to like Ivanhoe Chinese restaurant.
Wow.
And we would go and get 2 new releases and 5 weeklies, new releases for my parents. And then we would go and order some Chinese food, and we would go home and we would watch one of those movies.
Would you be walking around eating your prawn crackers as you're waiting for your food to be delivered?
No,
and
I
put
would
together?
I would go in and collect the food. This is such a fat kid story.
Well, I hate to say, Mish, you are in a safe space to reveal a fat
Thank
kid
God.
story.
I would go in to collect the food
Mhm.
because mum would be parked illegally or something. She'd be like,
Mm.
go get the food. So she'd throw like $20 at me. I'd go and get the food. I'd go into the Chinese restaurant and they would give free prawn crackers. And I would hide the prawn crackers up my back of my shirt. And I'd say that they didn't give us any
That's
prawn
so-
crackers.
Oh,
my
Mishy.
God.
Then I'd eat all the prawn crackers.
Wow.
Mishy.
Well, I'm just going to say you indeed yourself to every little chubster listening to the podcast right now. All the husky kids have gone through something like that.
Yeah.
I just had a realization. One of my favorite lyrics in music is "I love you like a fat kid loves cake." It's
Yeah.
a 50 Cent lyric, and I always thought I think fat kids should reclaim that now and just be
Yeah.
like, "I love you like 50 Cent loves the subject of I love cake like 50 Cent loves the subject of that song." Because that's how I feel about cake, you know.
Well, Mish, we're going to get into your choices.
Please.
And I'm going to ask you a question right now.
Mhm.
You said the new releases were for mum and dad and the weeklies were for the kids.
Yes.
Are you prepared to get a new release or have you not graduated to it yet? You just want the weeklies?
I really want to do my weeklies.
Wow, okay.
My 3, but I could bring to the front and say to you, this new release is very good, but I'm not taking it home.
Oh, wow. Unprecedented
and you would say, stop talking to me, rent your videos and get the fuck out of my store.
Yeah, that's never been done on the show. I've never said, actually, you know what? Fuck off. You're not allowed here. Well, it's okay. We'll allow you to get the weeklies this week.
Okay,
You'll be
great.
allowed to get 3 weeklies. That'll be the deal for you. And then I'll give you a staff pick, a recommendation
Excellent.
based on your taste. And Zachary can guide you around the store. He's been around the block a few times here.
I know where all the coloured popcorn,
Yes.
coloured sweet popcorn is. I know where the pods are.
Mhm.
I wouldn't recommend getting the drinks. I don't think the fridge is cold enough.
No,
Yeah,
we
no,
don't
fair.
have a working fridge. We just have a cabinet, a glass cabinet we
Yeah.
keep the Cokes in.
And there's also like a chewing gum machine, you know, one of those chewing gum machines.
Yep.
And if you shake it a certain way with the thing turned, you
Mhm.
don't have to put a coin in it. I can get you as many free chewing gums as you want.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, perfect. That's
Yeah.
exactly what I want.
And yeah, we'll tell you the secret of the
Mm.
chewing gums. They're all bubbler bills that I ate and then let the gum put into a
Just put it
machine.
in the
I've made the
machine.
decision that my job is world building because I think I'm the only person that tries to pretend I'm in an actual video
No, I
shop
love
whenever
that.
I'm
I'm
on
all
this
for that.
podcast.
There's a few
I-
people do the world buildings. You know,
No, I need this. This is so great because
Yeah.
I miss video stores so much. It was my favorite place as a kid.
Yeah,
So
well,
this is
I'll tell
great.
you this: the adult section is down near the Z section of the dramas. So if you want to pretend you're looking at some movie starting with Z,
Yeah.
you can also catch a peek at all the
No.
rude
Do
movies.
you know what I remember about the rude movie
Zorba the
section?
Greek could be.
Zorba
in-
the Greek.
Yeah, there we go. There's
Oh, you
one
don't have
drama.
Zorba the Greek? Oh well, I'll just keep looking.
What I remember about the rude movie section,
Yeah.
back right corner of Ivanhoe Blockbuster,
Oh my god, back
is
right
that we would
corner.
obviously like.
JFK assassination
That's
style.
right. We weren't like allowed back there because it's adults only. It
Yeah.
wasn't like closed off or anything. It was just like a very
Mm.
kind of dark
Yeah.
little section, no lights, right?
Yeah, ours has
But
a
I
lounge
used
that you're
to-
allowed to jerk off at.
There's a hole in the wall. No, but because I was so fascinated by it, because it was so like it's so naughty, and I was like, well, I've got to check it out. I would always, whenever we'd be there browsing our movies, I would always be in the action section, which is just next to it, and then I'd do a very quick walkthrough, like very quick, and just glance across. And I remember a movie called Keyhole,
Oh,
and the
wow.
cover of it was just a keyhole with a naked woman standing through the
Wow.
keyhole, and it's never left my brain.
I don't think people will ever because in Australia, in outside of
You
the
type in
territories,
keyhole.
I wrote Keyhole movie and it came up with a 2011 Guy Madden silent film starring Isabella Rossellini
Yeah, there's
and
that-
Udo Kier. So maybe not that one.
No, it's not that.
I
one.
might have to write Keyhole porno movie.
Porno
Porno
movie.
Porno movie.
It would be from the
Adult
80s,
film.
maybe the early 90s.
Keyhole. It's on X Hamster, 1975. We can watch it right now.
Oh, there we go.
Wow.
The full movie is on X Hamster,
Is
the porno
is
website.
the cover there?
Well, I'm afraid to click on it because I actually am in my workplace right now, so I can't really click the link, but we can look at it later.
No, yeah,
Mish,
great.
go out to the store, spend a few minutes in the Z section,
Yep.
looking a little bit further around, and you can look at pornos. You can look at them.
I can do that now.
Yeah, you're allowed to look at
Yeah.
them.
And while you do that, I'm going to try and talk about if I can have a few public holiday days off. I want the long weekend, and Alexi's a real fucking hard
Yeah.
ass,
That's
man.
right, man, because we only pay you like the 16-year-old wage, so we need you here on the weekends.
It's my parents are going on holiday, and I really need the break.
No, you got to come work at the store.
Okay.
Weekly.
Mish, you have got a beautiful collection of films sitting atop your lap right now.
Yes, I do.
Yes, the movies that you have selected for your weekly choices. Dare I say two of them I'm looking at right now, two Ultimate Video Store classics,
Mhm.
because they're two of the very best movies that have a video store in them.
Yes.
Shall we talk about the Australian classic?
Please, I'd love to.
Let's talk about it. One of the most iconic Australian films in the history of Australian cinema. It is from P.J. Hogan. The year was 1994, and the person that was getting married, her name was Muriel. And it takes place at her wedding,
Mhm.
and the movie is named after that. Muriel's Wedding is the film.
Very good.
Comedy.
So tell people about Muriel's Wedding.
I love this movie. I think most Australians have seen, at least most people our age have
Mhm.
seen this film, I think, in Australia. It is incredible. And every stage of my life that I have watched this film, I have taken something else from this
Wow.
film. So I remember watching it when I was really young, and it was a very different movie to me then in comparison to when I watched it again last year for the 50th time. I just think it is everything I love about Australian cinema.
Mm.
I it is my favorite movie of all time. It means so much to me. And I just think it's such an incredible performance. I mean, Toni Collette in it is outrageous.
Mhm.
And I get really, Zach and I have spoken about it quite a bit, that it drives me insane how young she was in that film.
How old was she?
21.
Good Lord
She was
Almighty.
21 when she did that movie.
To be that talented?
Can you imagine?
No.
No, I'm
I
not
didn't
even
have
close.
talent at
Yeah,
21.
no.
No.
I was at 21. I was just like a fucking loser.
Yeah.
And I think that she's so incredible in it.
It's so crazy. 21, I literally went back. Oh, what was I doing? Oh, and I went to, I was bombing at an open mic at 11 p.m. on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess she had pretty good stuff for her back then.
I was working at 21. Oh, no, I was at Ballarat Arts Academy. So I was in my first year of art school.
Could you imagine? Think about a performance you did in first year acting school.
God.
Now imagine PJ Hogan filming that.
Oh, my God.
Like,
Oh,
it's
my God.
insane.
God.
In first year, we did a show.
And you getting Oscar buzz for it?
Wow.
In first year, we did a show where I stopped a boat of refugees at 21. A 21-year-old. Like, honest, that was my role in it, was that I had to stop a boat of
Oh
refugees.
my God. So that probably would have been speaking about Australia's current political climate back
Yeah,
then.
actually crazy. It was really progressive.
That's really beautiful.
But no, it is my favorite movie. I love this film so much. And like I said, the way it was for me as a kid, I still hold that very dear. But the way it now is for me as an adult is just such a completely different experience. And I love it.
I agree. I think it's one of the very best Australian films. And I think it's like, I will say something on that, the casting of Toni Collette, because I think Muriel is one of the most splendid cases of a great character on the page being met by the perfect person to play it, but also like not just exemplifying like what a great character, but once in a lifetime generational talent, getting to do a character that doesn't often get played by a once in a lifetime generational talent actor. And you believe every second of Muriel's journey, from her dorky little origins to the confidence that she gets when she realizes her essence at the end of the film.
Yeah.
Just superb performance.
Incredible.
But it's the kind of performance and kind of character you never see at the lead of a film. Like,
No.
you never see a character like that in the lead of a film, especially a film that's toned like this. Like, when you think about Muriel's Wedding, go, one of the funniest, most beloved comedies in Australia's history. But it's about, the saddest plot if you read it out, you go, this is the saddest movie ever made.
Based on the cover of this film and the way this film was marketed, they marketed it to be a comedy. People believed it was going to be that way. It is the most tragic film. Again, I think I have seen this movie at least a dozen times. I always cry, and it's always at a different point.
Yeah.
And often the tears aren't because I'm sad. It's because it really taps into something in me. And like I said, every stage of my life, I felt something different. I remember when I was a teenager and I loved this film. It was because I'd never seen someone like Toni Collette play someone like Muriel before.
Yeah.
Both, the combination of both of those things. The character didn't exist and the actor didn't exist. And for me. And it was just a really, it was a really, really specific moment in my life where I could watch her in that film and go, there is a place for weird little kids like me, and playing roles that I can really relate to and really grab onto, And I wasn't raised like Muriel. I was not Muriel, but there was something about her that really tapped into teenage girldom. And then again, as a 30-something-year-old woman, again, taps into that. And I just, so good.
Can I ask a question, right? Because this is a
The
film.
chips are at the back.
Your office co-host, Mish is in there.
God.
I don't have any cheese supreme.
No, my question would be, because I haven't seen this film since I was a kid, right? And my memory of it is, man, this is depressing, right?
Yeah.
I remember just being so depressed by it.
It's
and
a
being
barrel of laughs. Her mum kills herself after her dad landed on her entire life.
like, that's the thing, right? That's how I remember it. But then I'm like, maybe that's because I was a kid and I hadn't seen so much of the world and I didn't see the humor because I was being exposed to something so depressing. As an adult, is it funnier? Is it more joyful in a way? Does it tap into, does it sort of go, yes, the world is terrible, but, or is it just as depressing as I remember it?
I totally see hope in this film.
Yes.
The whole end. It's one of the most fabulous final scenes in a film
Absolutely.
ever. But absolutely, it's like, I guess from speaking from a female experience, it definitely is. It really shows the value of female friendship and what's important and like found family and all of that, which I think is incredible. But no, there's real tragedy in this film. About wanting to belong and wanting to be somebody. Like not even somebody important, just wanting to be somebody
and to be seen.
Oh,
Somebody, you know, it's beautiful.
When I watched it last time, which was last year, because I really do have to prepare myself to watch this film because it really does.
No, that's why I haven't seen it in a long
Yeah.
time, because it really affected
I
me.
mean, Zach grew up in Porpoise Spit. So
It's crazy that you haven't watched it more than you have.
And when I say Zach grew up in Porpoise Spit, I don't mean the fictional place. Porpoises spat on him every day when he was growing up.
In a tub of porpoise spit. You know how many porpoises have to spit into a tub for me to be able to be in it?
All the school bullies who are just porpoises, just spitting on you in your little Catholic country town.
Do you know that bit in The Matrix when he wakes up in the goo? That was inspired by my upbringing.
And there was another thing that I noticed on my last watch of this movie. One of the most perfect little details in the closing credits. It says men dressed by Tara Cash.
See, I'd never noticed that. Yum, yum, yum.
It's
That's
a great
so
little detail in
funny.
the closing credits.
In the last watch that I did, the part that really that I'd never really picked up on until I'd watched it in my mid-30s was her husband.
Yeah.
Can we say spoiler warning for this?
Yeah.
I don't know, fuck it. He comes up and she basically says, like, why did you do this then? Why, if you hate me, why did you marry me? And he goes, I want to win. All my life I've wanted to win. And he's this big swimmer, this like Olympic swimmer. And then it shows her and she's like, well, same. She's, me too.
Yeah.
And it's like, it was just like, oh, yeah, it's like you think that like he's this big, special, celebrated human being. And just because she's little Muriel Heslop from Porpoise Spit, it doesn't mean that they don't actually just want the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Beautiful.
it's just such an incredible film. And it's so sad,
Yeah.
so tragic. And Rachel, I have a tattoo of it.
Oh, yeah.
I
with
literally have a tattoo that says I'm with Muriel
Wow.
on my arm because I love this film so much.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jill Bilcock, the editor, best Australian editor ever, like one of the greats. There's a great documentary about her and her career called Dancing the Invisible Line, which is a must-see for any film lover. And I will say the last thing before we wrap this up, the video store that Muriel works at when she moves to Sydney was on Oxford Street. It was a real video store. It looks beautiful in the film.
I love it.
The
so
video store
much.
in Muriel's Wedding, I think, is one of the most beautiful video stores ever captured on film because it's very small. It was like a very tiny little space and it just had like so many films everywhere. It's like so perfectly dingy, so perfectly Oxford Street.
Yeah.
It's now a tobacconist, I think. So
Oh, wow.
next time you're in Sydney, go buy a couple of ciggies from the old Muriel's Wedding video store.
But it does,
Ask if they got some vapes under the desk.
Yes.
it really does perfectly capture that kind of video store that only the surrounding 3 blocks go to. You know what I mean? You don't travel to go to that video store.
It's a big city video store.
Yeah.
Mish, that is Muriel's Wedding. I could not think of a more perfect pick for you to choose here
Love
at the
that
video
film.
store. And one of the probably, I'd say 5 best video store set movies.
Oh, amazing.
I would say so. But
Right.
let us move on to one of the other 5 best movies that take place partially in a video store with one of the main characters who is a video store clerk. And yes, I admire him greatly. He's one of my heroes. Jamie Kennedy, let it be known, an influence on me. But we are talking about Wes Craven and Kevin Williamson's 1996 classic Scream.
Yep.
Horror.
Wow. I would actually say the first person to pick Scream. I'm surprised it's never come up on the show before.
Well, yeah, I am so surprised it hasn't come up. But again, this is just me being very, very honest because
take up your space, mate.
it's my
you.
favorite
You've
movie.
claimed
Like,
it.
yeah, it's one of my favorite movies. I have always been obsessed with Scream ever since the year it came out and I
Wow.
saw it for the first time.
My God, how old were you if you did?
Wow.
I
Eight.
can't ask.
What
a
a
woman her
permissive
age.
parents
It's
there.
a 1996.
Yeah, 96.
8.
Wow.
Wow.
So currently Mish is older.
No, so yeah, I basically a friend of mine when we were 8 had a much younger brother who was like 3 or something like that. And we were
But
off.
he had a fake ID, so he could get
So
you guys into the
he
movie.
got us booze and vodka cruises. No, her parents would ask her to babysit so they could go clubbing. This isn't a joke.
Oh my God.
And her older brother, who was like 12 or something,
Yeah.
13, on a Friday night would stay at home and look after their 3-year-old brother, right? It felt normal at the time. And she was allowed to have friends over, and we would just go to Video Easy Doncaster.
Oh my God.
And we would rent scary movies.
Wow.
And we would watch them. Wow.
No, I gotta say, shout out to the permissive parents, the friends, because I think everyone had that friend. I remember.
Yes, the permissive parents
Yeah.
are some of the key gate makers, opening the gates for cinephiles across the world.
Yeah.
Because
you know?
I had a friend, Tim Bell, and his mum. I watched all of Tarantino's films at his house. And I remember his mum at one point sitting there watching Kill Bill. She was like, "You're allowed to watch this stuff at home, aren't you?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Yes.
Because I think sometimes kids come around and watch stuff with Tim because their parents don't let them. Like, "Yeah, no, it's all
it's
good."
all
Like,
right.
all right. Then she
Yeah.
walked off.
Well, thinking about
the weird little Catholic boy with spit dripping off him from sea creatures. He's allowed to watch this stuff.
Thinking about it, I was probably a bit older, like maybe 10, 11, 12. But we would rent a whole bunch of scary movies. So we'd end up watching like Center Stage and
Wow.
I Know What You Did Last Summer. that
Great
kind of
double
vibe.
bill.
Sorry, yeah, great.
We never put those films together,
Yeah.
but those are the films that sat together.
I think that's a good movie, center stage with a slasher killer in it. I mean, it's basically Suspiria, but
Yeah.
it's actually the most famous horror movie ever made.
True.
Yeah.
But I just remember us watching the Scream movies in that kind of situation.
Yeah.
And the first Scream movie owns so much of my heart.
Wow.
Because I believe Scream is the reason I love movies. Because it's the first time I ever loved a movie. Like really, like, I mean, yes, I loved Drop Dead Fred. We've discussed this.
Yeah.
And yes, there were different like movies as a kid, but Scream was the first time I saw a movie and just went, well, I want to watch 1,000 of these movies every day until I die.
It's a great gateway because Scream, like for people like, our age or a little bit older, can be the introduction to the slasher for a lot of people.
Was for me.
But it's also like, because it is meta, but the way that it is meta, it's like, hey, here's your pathway to find some more stuff that you're going to like if you like this. And it's going to,
100%.
on doing so will also improve all of those movies for you. You'll love all of them for it.
100%. Like that's the thing I think that I remember. I've watched more and more slashes in the last few years, and the late 80s, early 90s. The early 80s was such a peak time for slashes, but the early 90s, you can see that it was hitting these doldrums, and Scream is so amazing in going, we're not going to not have them run upstairs because you can't lose that. We're just going to acknowledge that it's a little bit silly.
Yeah.
We're going to go, it's okay, now enjoy the film. Like
Yeah,
there's this,
incredible.
yeah.
Incredible. It it absolutely started my love for the slasher because I love slashers. And also it's very much kind of like I'm chasing a high because I've never felt the same way about a slasher as I have Scream, but I'm constantly trying to find it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's similar. It's doppelganger. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
like
it's
but
same.
something that will give you the same high,
Exactly, yeah. And I have yet to find it, but in my journey have found many slashers I love.
Gosh.
But it's my favorite, arguably my favorite genre of film is the slasher, and in particular that 90s kind of era.
I would say like part of that is I think because slashers are so stringent on their structure, like, and part of like the enjoyment of seeing a slasher is same for me as seeing a rom-com. It has the same structure that you're going to experience basically every time. Scream does it knowingly, but because it does it knowingly, it also adheres to that structure quite strongly.
Yeah.
So there's a pleasure in just seeing how what you're familiar with will unfold in a new or different way. And then the joys can be like, oh, the kills are fun in this.
Yeah.
So it's the same kind of thing where it's like you go to the slasher genre in a weird way for comfort. Like I think it's the same way you go to a rom-com, you go to those genres for comfort.
100%.
And I've seen Scream probably more than any other movie in my life. Like
Same.
I've seen it so much. And there was a couple of years ago where I saw it again, or a friend had invited me to see it like at Golden Age of Cinema in Sydney, where I love very much. They did a screening of it, and they're like, "Oh, come see it." And I go, "You know what? I think I've seen Scream as much times as I can in my life. I don't know if I'll go get anything from it." And I still went, and I there was new things in there for me.
Exactly.
Like there's enough in there to be new things. That what I wrote down last time I saw it was a new thing that I loved is a scene where Dewey, played by David Arquette, and the sheriff talking about suspects, and the sheriff is like really going to town on this ciggy that he's like smoking, and every time he's like lifts the cigarette to his mouth, Dewey is eating an ice cream cone at the same time, and he's matching the movements. And I go, that is so funny. I'd seen the movie probably like 24 times, had never seen that before, and it just killed me.
It's so good. I think it is, and I'll die on this hill. I think it's the best screenplay. I think it's
Screenplay.
Sorry,
Screenplay.
Yeah, best screenplay ever.
Yeah.
I think the script is insane. The first time I heard I want to know who I'm looking at was like when she's like, why do you want to know my name? And Drew Barrymore, who was also perfect casting, even though she was originally cast as Sidney Prescott.
Yeah.
Fun fact. But
we're having fun here.
We do have fun here.
I love fun facts.
She was originally cast as Sidney Prescott, but then couldn't do it, and then it ended up working out that it was better anyway. That she was this Casey Beckett. Casey Beckett?
Casey Musgraves.
Yeah, that's the one. But when she's like, "Why do you want to know my name?" and Ghostface goes, "I want to know who I'm looking at."
Wow.
I still, every time I watch it, every time they say that, and then it does a quick pan up to her face, I just shit my pants.
Wow.
Can you imagine? Every time I've watched this movie heaps, I've shat my pants.
That's a
so
lot of
many
times.
times.
That's anytime I go, did you just watch Scream, Mish? Because you stink.
It's like I stink because I shat
You
myself.
stink, bro.
You reek of shit.
Can I ask a question? I
Yeah,
want to
of
ask you
course.
both a question because it's something I think about a lot. I think the greatest strength of this film is the fact that it's a young, up-and-coming filmmaker remixing a genre and probably the most established director. And I don't think anyone would ever think to do that. Even now, that's such a weird pairing of people. The idea of someone who almost half created the genre coming in and directing a remix of it is so perfect. I just wonder what people's thoughts are on that, or like how you feel about that tone and like what Wes Craven brings to the mix.
Oh, well, I think it's good.
I think it's wonderful. Are you talking about Kevin?
Yeah. Kevin Williamson.
Yeah.
No, talking more about Wes Craven and like what do you think Wes Craven brings to it? Like, you know, like the idea of a director that's so established doing a film that's young and remixing
I could imagine
a genre.
that he probably really had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think so. I think it would have been like, because when you think like all the stuff that happens around these movies, like Halloween H2O and all that kind of stuff, it's like they tried to do that with that film. They got the guy that I think did Halloween 2 or something. I'm like, whatever. And I think, but you can't really get past that being the mixing of these two things. Like one, Kevin Williamson, a massive nerd, obviously like a massive film nerd. And then Wes bringing on, I think Wes is really underrated and underappreciated as a visual filmmaker and being able to craft scares visually. And I think there's, in many senses, Scream for him is probably a bit back to basics because he's been playing in Freddy's wheelhouse with Mr. Krueger from Nightmares on the Elm Street series, and which is the official title of the franchise. But you know,
Nightmares on the Elm Streets.
But it's like those he got to play like big visually. Going to New Nightmare, which is the meta sequel to Nightmare on Elm Street, which I think leads into Scream in a very nice and easy way.
It feels like the haute couture of before Scream's like accessible. It's like him playing with the ingredients.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, which is probably why it really appealed to him when the script fell at his. He was just like, well, yeah, let's make fun of all the things that I've been playing around.
But it's also, I love that he takes it seriously. Like, I don't know. I would love to read the script because it's like, I don't know how scary the script would be. I think the script would be really funny. And then Wes Craven makes it properly. So like, it's a properly scary film.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
like, yeah, absolutely.
Like, and dirty. And yeah, it's a great film. Good choice, Mish.
Beautiful
Thank you
choice,
so much.
Mish. Beautiful choice. We're going on to your final pick right now. This is a cult movie, a cult musical comedy. And it is a movie called Earth Girls Are Easy from Julian Temple.
Comedy.
Now, a lot of people probably haven't seen this movie before.
Guilty.
Yeah, Zach has not seen it.
I have been trying to get Zach to watch this movie. And when I found out that you had seen this movie, I shat myself.
Oh my God. Were you watching Scream?
I said, did you just watch Scream? And she's like, no, Alexei's watched a movie I like.
Could you give a little blurb for the movie for people that haven't seen it?
Sure. Gina Davis finds out that her husband is cheating on her. and so she kicks him out of the house.
Mhm.
And after kicking him out of the house, a spaceship lands in her pool.
And
And
that's not a euphemism, folks.
no, that's the true
Mhm.
story. Spaceship lands in her pool, and from that spaceship emerges 3 aliens. And
And
then
who plays the aliens?
Jim Carrey,
Yes.
Wow.
Damon Wayans,
Yep.
and Jeff Goldblum.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then havoc ensues.
Yeah, it's a really, really fun movie. It is one of the best looking, most beautifully designed, stunningly realized cinematic comedies I think has ever been made.
I think it is a perfect film.
Really?
I think it is. So generally speaking, when it comes to movies I like and why I like them, it's almost always based purely off whether it's entertaining.
Mhm.
I don't really take into account the history of, I don't really take into account where they were at when they made it,
Mhm.
who made it, whatever. It's whether or not the actual movie entertains me in some way.
Mm.
And this is the most entertaining movie ever. It is so fun.
Wow.
It is
And this is
visually.
from someone that's seen Keyhole.
Yeah, can you imagine? No, but this, I think it is so fun, and is one of those movies I'm like, more people need to see it,
Mm.
which is why I'm bringing it to the attention of the video store.
Well, yes. Now, Zach, you must see this movie now.
I've been telling him for years.
Yeah, she
honestly.
wants me to do a screening of it, and I'm like, it wouldn't be right, Mish, without you by my side.
Yes, get up there, do it.
It's also got a lot of nostalgia for me because in and amongst the VHS tapes we owned at home, one of them was a VHS tape that was half Earth Girls Are Easy, and then like it was very long. With like, the start was Earth
Yep.
Girls and Easy, and the end was My Stepmother's an Alien.
Oh my gosh.
That was the VHS.
Well, we can give you that copy if you want.
Would
Pick that up
love
from
it,
the store. You get a little
please.
bit of My Mother's an Alien.
But you could watch both, and because Stepmother's an Alien was a very big movie for me as a kid, I would.
What was the biggest movie of all time?
Of all
For
time.
everybody.
Yeah, one won't. People won't shut the fuck up
I
about
know,
it.
always.
I would have to like fast forward through Earth Girls Are Easy, but I would always catch all my favorite scenes.
Mm.
And then when I hit adulthood, I'm like, I've got to revisit that movie. And I did a few years ago, and I was just like, it's perfect.
Do you know something just dawned on me, Mish? Now, I hate to bring mine and Mish's beef on our podcast onto this podcast, and I think you're going to hate me for saying
We might
this.
squash the beef while we're here.
Yeah, okay.
Mish has gone on the record as saying, what's your least favorite genre, Mish?
Sci-fi.
Yeah.
Now, what would you say the 2 movies you just discussed are?
Yeah.
I have to make it very clear that over the years, with a lot of Zach's pressure,
Mhm.
I can say I don't hate all sci-fi.
Yeah.
There is a particular area of sci-fi that I fuck with.
Yeah.
I just don't fuck with Interstellar.
Yeah. You don't like space so much. You
No,
like
I've-
earthbound
no,
space.
when the
She
aliens
likes it
come
when they
here-
come to
Yeah,
Earth and
exactly.
fuck the people.
Yeah, she likes
That I like.
Yes.
When the aliens come to my home or to someone's house and they
Mhm.
have sex, that's when I like sci-fi.
Bald
Wow.
Neo is in a tub of goo, but why isn't he fucking any of them robots?
But this is a really lovely movie. Julie Brown is in this one of the stars of the film. She also wrote the film. But I would say one thing that when I watched it for the first time, which was only a couple of years ago, it's one of my partner's favorite movies as well.
Love that.
Was I couldn't help but imagine a parallel universe version of this movie where instead of Gina Davis and Jeff Goldblum, you got Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta.
Wow.
That's all I can imagine.
You should see a
seeing this.
movie called Grease.
I have.
It would
Okay, so I was
fucking
about to
blow
say
your mind.
the fact that you'd bring those two up is crazy.
Dude, my
'Cause they-
family's from Greece.
Okay,
So,
well,
yeah,
well,
I
you'd
grew
love
up
it
there.
then. You
I
would
grew
love
up
it.
there. Yeah, I love that movie. Yeah, Grease is one of the movies where every time I watch it, I shit my pants.
Yeah, nice one.
Staff pick.
Well, now we're up to the part of the show where it is the staff pick recommendation.
So excited. for
I
this.
am about to bestow upon you a film recommendation based on your taste. I will give you a couple of extras as well, you know.
Thank you.
There are some backups, but I want to give you an Australian movie.
Mhm.
I know that you like the horror, so I want to give you an Australian horror movie.
Excellent.
And I also want to give you something female filmmaker, because I do think of Julie Brown as like the actual author of Earth Girls Are Easy. So I want to give you this film that I really love. This is, I would say, a folk horror film from Australia, 1989. It is a movie called CELIA.
Horror.
Have you seen or heard
I
of
haven't.
Celia before? Have you seen Celia?
I haven't seen it. There was a screening of it I was going to go to, and then some shit went down in my personal life.
Yeah.
But I've been wanting
Zach
to see
crapped
Celia.
his pants.
Yeah, I crapped my pants before the movie.
Now that is a rare occurrence.
I was
Yeah.
so excited, but I've heard incredible things about Celia.
I love this movie.
Mhm.
This is from 1989. It is about an imaginative and somewhat disturbed young girl who fantasizes about evil creatures and other oddities to mask her insecurities while growing up in rural Australia. So it's got like
Great.
this kind of weird tone to it where it is a little bit scary, but I think because it comes from the POV of a child character who is a little bit weird, a little bit imaginative, I think that works really well. I'm very much about like films that capture the child's perspective in a kind of nuanced or strange way.
Amazing.
Directed by Ann Turner. She was only 28 years old when she made this, her feature debut.
Wow.
And it stars as Celia, Rebecca Smart, who was a prominent child actor of this day and age.
Mhm.
And then she also like made some like pictures when she was older. But one of the reasons I find this so funny is my partner used to babysit Rebecca Smart's kids.
Wow.
And so there was a time where we watched Celia and she goes, hang on a second, that's Rebecca. And every time we watch like an Australian movie, she goes, oh my God, that's Rebecca. Rebecca's here. But I really think this is fantastic movie. Well up your alley.
Yeah,
It
I'll
might
watch
not
it.
be a perfect movie for
Fine.
you, but I think it will be the exact kind of movie that you get excited about while watching it because there are these little oddities. It is quite imaginative. It has like some great little surrealist elements.
Maybe more of a wet shard.
Maybe just squeak out like a really
Yuck.
strong
Well,
fart.
you're the one that poos yourself every time you like a movie. Sorry. He's never going to have a
At least poo
co-host
is a
again.
commitment. A shard is gross.
Sorry.
A shot
on.
is gross.
Sorry.
Carry on,
Yeah, no.
carry on. You were
It is
selling
gross.
this the great
It is-
Australian.
No,
it is
I'm
gross.
so excited to watch this film.
Yeah, I think it's got this like nice touch of Australiana that I
Love
think you
that.
really like. And there's been a bit of a groundswell around in the last few years as it being like a great example of Australian folk horror cinema and then also a great example for the world of folk horror cinema. So it's been like this like building cult around Celia because it's been
Amazing.
quite obscure for some time. But now in Australia in particular, it's done all these new screenings. Like I saw it at the Art Gallery of New South Wales a few years ago. So it's doing that kind of circuit of like reclamation. Really, really, really great movie. Like I think you'll absolutely
Oh
dig
man,
it.
I'm so on board.
That's so cool.
And I'm going to give you a little bonus one because it came into my mind with the way that you were talking about Muriel's wedding in particular. I don't know if you've seen this movie, but currently there is a stage show of it happening in, what was in Adelaide when we were all in Adelaide together. But Shirley Valentine.
Comedy.
Have you ever seen Shirley Valentine?
No.
This is one of those movies I just always adored growing up, partially because I guess it is set in Greece, not the movie, the actual country. But
It's Rizzo's side story.
honestly, it really could be.
Oh my,
because-
that'd be amazing,
Pleasantville.
actually.
Because just like Rizzo, it is about a middle-aged woman in Greece.
yeah, great.
But it's
Very good, Alexei.
yes. Bow to me, constituents of the video store. Bow to me. But it is about an older middle-aged woman who's going through like her midlife crisis. It's an English film played by Pauline Collins. I think she was Oscar nominated for it. And then she goes on Greece, like escapes her husband, and like has like this, basically still got her groove back, but an old English lady going to Greece and fucking old Greek
cool.
guys
Love
and
it.
stuff like
Love
that.
that.
I think she fucks Tom Conti playing a Greek guy.
Absolutely, she
and
does.
it's a really fun movie, but it captures the way that you talked about Muriel is like you don't see someone like that be the star of a film or like a movie be centered around them and it be a movie star movie. I think Shirley Valentine captures all of that too.
Excellent.
And now I got to try and think of a slasher for you because you're trying to explore down a path, but
Yeah.
that shall be the next visit to the video
Please.
store, Mish.
And I'm here to announce this. The reason I'm here as a sidekick, I should say, is I'm here to announce my new podcast, which is called Eagle Boys Pizza, Batuna's Last Eagle Boys Pizza. The world building here is that I'm the pizza shop next door,
And you pick up your 3 favorite pizzas for a family combo.
and I keep coming in. During the day and asking Alexei if he'd be open to doing some sort of shared voucher between us.
And I'm starting a podcast. Do you mind if I announce
Of
mine?
course,
It's
yes.
called Batuga Advocates, The Last Pharmacy. And it's the pharmacy that takes over the Blockbuster when it shuts down.
Yeah, I come in and pick my 3 favorite sugarless star lollies.
Exactly right.
But thank you so much for joining us, Mish.
Thank you
and
for having
Zach,
me.
thanks for sticking around.
Hey,
you
thanks
know?
for having me here to occasionally say some things.
This has
That's
been
it.
absolute
We had-
joy.
My pleasure to finally have you on. And you know the Mish Zach podcast, it is now on YouTube as well.
It is on YouTube now as well. Yeah.
Yeah, you can now watch our beautiful faces. See 2 people that love cake as much as 50 Cent loves women.
That's right.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexei.
You are going home today with not 4 movies, but 5 movies.
Oh, wait a
Perfect.
second. I see 6 movies. What's this in the middle? Keyhole?
Keyhole, glory hole edition that comes with an extra wide disc hole.
You think you can slip that in between, Mish? I'm on to you.
But you're
I'm an
going,
adult and I can make those decisions now.
yeah, we got Muriel's Wedding, you got Earth Goes Easy, you got Scream, you got Shirley Valentine's, a little bonus, and you also got CELIA.
Perfect.
And you also got Keyhole.
Keyhole.
Yes, you got Keyhole, but
That one's not getting returned. I'll just pay
Yeah,
them. I'll
You,
pay
just,
the
you do the
people.
list, but you don't say keyhole. You got this, you got this, you got this. And you've got keyhole. Yeah, it's in the bag as well. Don't worry, it's in the bag. I've got this.
yeah, I'm logging it as something else. Yeah, I'm logging it as Secret Garden.
Secret Garden. I was just thinking that.
The last video store.
Thank you for checking out The Last Video Store with me, your host, Alexei Toliopoulos. Please subscribe, follow, share the podcast amongst your friends as well. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TikTok, Instagram, Last Video Store Batuta. So check us out and share us in all of those places. And if you want your own bespoke customized recommendation from me, you can submit an online order at any of those places, in a comment, in a 5-star review, with your weeklies and your new release pick, and I will come to you like I did at the top of this episode and give you a recommendation based on your taste. So thank you very much. Love you, love movies.